Hello, and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Today we're going to look at a prison which is notorious within the UK prison system. A prison which is located right in the heart of the West Midlands. HM Prison Brinsford. HMP and YOY Prison Brinsford is an adult male category B and C prison and young offenders institution, or otherwise known as a YOY. Located in the village of Featherstone near Wolverhampton in Staffordshire, which is in England. The prison is operated by Her Majesty's Prison Service. Brinsford was opened in 1991 as a YOY and remand centre. The site had been previously acquired from the Ministry of Defence and already housed Featherstone Prison. In 2001, Brinsford was branded a disgrace after the inspection found the prison's regime to be negligent and lacking in understanding towards prisoners, with large indicators of self-harm, fear and safety, and bullying at the prison. A year later, 2 additional education blocks were built at Brinsford, with the regime promising a renewed focus on education and training at the site. In 2003, 4 prisoners escaped from Brinsford after assaulting a prison officer and stealing his keys to the administration blocks. The 4 inmates then smashed a window and escaped over the prison's perimeter wall. In 2008, an additional residential unit and activity centre was built at Brinsford. This resulted in a reduction in places for juveniles and an increase for young offenders at the prison. In 2016, it was in the process of changing into a Category C male prison. Since the beginning of 2019, Brinsford has become a Category B and C male prison, mainly due to the rise in violence, self-harm and drug abuse. It has been named as one of the worst prisons in the United Kingdom. Brinsford holds young offenders and adults, those who are over 18. Accommodation at the prison comprises of 5 residential units. Unit 1, which is a supported living unit for those prisoners with mental health and complex needs. Unit 2, which is for men who are attending work. Unit 3, an induction to the prison. Unit 4, which is a healthy living unit. And Unit 5, for those men reaching an enhanced level of behaviour within the system. All cells at Brinsford have internal sanitation, a television and electricity, while cells in Unit 5 also have showers. Education at the prison is provided by Milton Keynes College, and courses offered inside the prison include literacy and numeracy, social and life skills, communication and application of number, practical crafts, visual art, cookery, information technology, painting and decorating, woodwork, horticulture, cleaning science, physical education and music. Other facilities at the prison include a gym and sports pitches. There is a chapel service, a job centre, PIN telephones, legal services, incentives and earned privilege schemes, connections and the Samaritans. A November 2013 inspection at HMYOY Brinsford found that the situation at the institution had not improved since the previous inspection in 2012. The Chief Inspector of Prisons stated that Brinsford had the worst overall findings my inspectorate has identified in a single prison during my tenure as a Chief Inspector. The report found that the prison failed at inducting new inmates to the regime, that the level of violence was too high. The quarter of inmates surveyed said that it was too easy to get hold of drugs in the prison. The report also found that many cells were squalid in condition and that the communal areas were dirty and in need of refurbishment. The inspectorate found that just under a third of the inmates were not engaged with either work or the education programs. Overall, they found that the institution required significant improvement and that while staff were aware of the problems raised, they were overwhelmed and unable to improve the situation. There have been many violent incidents that have happened in Brinsford. Here is one that happened very recently. Abdi Rehman Eza, who was 21, assaulted John Henry Smith, who was 26, at HMP Brinsford on the 5th of December 2020. Mr. Eza punched Mr. Smith against the side of the head and from behind while he spoke with two other inmates. This caused him to fall and hit his head against the doorframe, and then against the ground. The force of the punch broke his jaw and rendered him unconscious. Mr. Smith suffered serious brain injuries which he could not recover from. He was taken to hospital the following day, where he died. Due to the overwhelming evidence against the defendant, Mr. Eza pleaded guilty to manslaughter on the 22nd of January 2021. Mr. Eza was due for release in May this year, but following his guilty plea, Mr. Eza was then sentenced at Staffordshire Crown Court to a further 2 years and 7 months behind bars. Sabir Pathan of the Crown Prosecution Service said, "This was a completely unprovoked attack. Mr. Eza struck Mr. Smith from behind while he chatted to two other inmates and was not prepared for the attack. His reckless actions led to the death of Mr. Smith." Mr. Eza was due to be released in May of 2021, but he will now remain in prison for considerably more time, where he will have to face what he has done and reflect on his actions. What are your opinions on HMP Brinsford? Do you agree with the Chief Inspector of Prisons, who stated that Brinsford was the worst prison he had ever seen in his entire time being an inspector? Have you or anyone that you know been to Brinsford? What were your opinions? Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you can join us on the next video. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.